Malaysian police have declared war. It is on a full frontal assault to wipe out the gangs.
We will not leave any stones unturned. We will go and all out and check. Whatever they're laying, we are going after them.
I'm Chan Tao Cho. This week on 101 East, we take you deep into the ganglands of Malaysia to uncover what drives some of the most hardcore criminals in the country into a life of lawlessness. The stunning skyline of the Malaysian capital, Kuala Lumpur, hides a number-coded underworld. Deadly factions with names like 04, 08, 77, the list goes on. Police have identified 49 illegal gangs nationwide with 40,000 known members. More than 70% of felons are ethnic Indians, who make up just 7% of Malaysia's population. Small in number, yet linked to a rash of crimes: armed robberies, drug and prostitution rings, loan sharking, gambling and extortion rackets, and even contract killings. After a spike in deadly crimes last year, police are on the offensive against the gangs. This mission, codenamed Ops Chantas, aka Operation Cutoff, is part of a nationwide battle against crime syndicates beginning last August. Police have arrested thousands of suspects this year. They say the crime rate is down 7%. Tonight, they're leaving no stone unturned in the northern state of Penang, where police have busted a car theft syndicate. I joined them to recover 7 vehicles at the garage, where they were to be resprayed and sold.
Some of the numbers, engine numbers and all that are changed. So we are looking for who is the original. This is believed to have been stolen in Alustaka.
Deputy Commissioner A. Thavigan says the 3 suspects arrested have criminal records. Police are investigating their links to armed gangs.
With whatever intelligence we gather, we will follow up with our teams. So they will not rest until they complete the whole operation.
How dangerous does it get?
It can get to the worst. There can be a shootout.
The next morning, all eyes were on the 5 body bags carried out. The suspects were all dead. At a press conference, the Inspector General of Police said when his men knocked on the door, the suspects opened fire and the cops killed them in a gunfight.
There is no such policy of shoot to kill. Who told you there is a policy of shoot to kill? Well, there is no such policy. We only shoot to defend ourselves.
He said this shield protected his men, who retrieved 3 guns from the scene. But not everyone believes the police had to fire in self-defense.
My son is on bail. You want to catch my son, he comes to the court, you catch him lah. Why you want to shoot gun?
It's not just the police who are dealing with bolder criminals. Residents of this Kuala Lumpur suburb are reeling from a spike in armed break-ins. They've formed a neighborhood watch group to protect themselves.
What you guys are supposed to look for is basically motorbike with a car or 2 cars. Just go around, look.
Ismail Faisal is a retired army major fighting a different battle these days. His home was broken into twice in 10 days last October. Major, as they call him, says the modus operandi suggests organized gangs did it.
There have been cases where people have come in, taken photographs, and a few days after that, something happens.
The group has recorded more than 40 crimes and suspicious incidents over the past year, mostly involving Indian suspects.
If I catch them, before I hand them over to the police, they will have what we call people's justice first. My kind of justice. Honestly, we would like to see some blood.
Ismail Faisal sees nothing wrong with police shooting to kill.
What was the point of fighting the communists or whatever it is that I fought before to make my country peaceful when I see my daughter and my wife so scared?
Do you agree with police taking stronger action against them?
I agree. I mean, all of us agree. I hope the police shoot more. If you are a good citizen, would you be walking around with arms?
A look into Malaysia's history reveals why many Indians, once the bedrock of estate agriculture, have been turning to crime. Many of them worked in rubber plantations after they migrated here during British colonial rule. For generations, the estates provided hundreds of thousands of Indian families with housing, jobs and schools. But all that changed in the 1970s. New economic policies saw private companies take over the estates, replace rubber with oil palm, and hire cheaper foreign labor. Some plantations were developed into townships. Today, within one generation, most estate Indians have been forced into urban centers, leaving them unskilled and trapped in poverty.
So they found themselves in a position where, they could only get the most menial of jobs. Many of the families that came out became dysfunctional.
Ganesan says Malaysian Indians dominate the underclass because the government's affirmative action policies favor the majority Malay population, who enjoy better job, housing and education opportunities than minority races.
In total, the 10 Malaysia plans, the government has spent about 1.1 trillion ringgits for development. Not even a small fraction of that actually went in for the resettlement program for these displaced estate workers, not a small fraction. So these become fertile ground for the recruitment of members for the crime syndicates.
One man wants to change the fate of vulnerable Indians in Malaysia. So Murali, you have a different type of gang now.
Yeah. Last time people scared, you see, now people respect our group.
Murali Arumugam was one of the country's most feared gang fighters in the 90s. His turning point came when he was deep in depression, midway through 6 years in jail. After his release, Murali started an NGO to make up for lost time, helping young Indians avoid a life of crime and violence.
Our group donates the blood. Every year we do this one.
Murali raises funds for the Indian community and often gives talks to teenagers in schools. His message is brutally clear.
If you want to do, you take the insurance for you. Insurance is better insurance for you. After you go die already, your family can get the money.
So basically you're telling them they definitely die?
3 things: one die, one go to prison, one people chop you.
He has recruited 700 volunteers, including jobless young men. Murali organizes them the best way he knows how, just like the old days.
No guide to do the good things. So I guide them.
And they in turn reach out to other vulnerable Indians. Today they are serving lunch at this learning center for the disabled. Murali believes such acts are the best way to help them change their lives.
They feel like people encourage them, then wish them. Okay, thank you. Nobody say like that. They will fight. Nobody respect. They respect, so they are happy.
So now they feel more appreciation.
Yes.
They might start to do more good things as a result.
Yeah.
But Murali's efforts are a drop in the ocean for Malaysia's 2 million ethnic Indians. Decades of neglect and community breakdown continue to drive many to a life of violent crime, where the lure of fast money and bonds of brotherhood shackle them. With criminal connections reaching all corners of society, it'll take a nationwide effort to break the stranglehold of Malaysia's gang menace.